Hello, I'm Han Hyun-young, director of the Ilsan Brain Neurology Clinic and a collaborator of the Korean Society of Geriatric Neurology. I'd like to thank Professor Shu Won-cheol for joining us on our broadcast today, even on his day off during the holiday. I'm sure many of you are watching today's broadcast. I hope this will be a valuable time that will help you achieve healthy sleep. Nice to meet you. Yes, Merry Christmas. Today, I'm here with Director Han Hyun-young of the Korean Geriatric Neurology Association to discuss healthy sleep methods that prevent pseudohypertension. As we wrap up the year, I'd like to urge you to make a plan for healthy sleep when establishing next year's reforms. Nice to meet you. Yes, let's get started. Yes, well, the title is Healthy Sleep Methods for Accelerated Aging. Oh, isn't it great? Yes. And we all need to talk about it because in a few days, the year will be over. The thought of actually getting another year older really depressed me last night. But today, if we can't stop this aging process, let's slow it down and think about various ways to age successfully so we can stay healthy next year. I think Won Jong-han is already in charge of the Gyu-sung Noah. He's 100 years older than me, but he looks younger. Oh, right. Oh, yes. It feels like I've received a Christmas present. Yes. I try really hard. I work hard. I exercise, I try to get enough sleep, and I try to constantly use my brain and study, but it's not easy. Yes. Yes. So, let's slow down aging a little. In principle, we can't avoid aging, right? It can't stop. So what causes this Noah phenomenon? Why do we age and become increasingly older? If it's unavoidable, then perhaps understanding the causes of aging could help us slow it down, even delay it a little more. So, let's take a closer look at the causes of aging. It's said that aging occurs after we reach our 20s, when we achieve rapid growth. After that, various factors, such as genetic instability or mitochondrial dysfunction, occur. Just as machines rust over time, our internal organs and genes, which have been actively growing, can become unstable due to factors like inflammation or antioxidant stress. This causes telomeres, which protect genes at the end of autosomes, to shorten. This varies from person to person. Therefore, it's widely known that shorter telomeres age more quickly. Furthermore, each cell differentiates and begins the aging process. Inflammation plays a crucial role in this aging process. Inflammation is extremely important, as are free radicals and other factors, and underlying diseases also significantly influence this. Therefore, it's known that the more metabolic disease, cerebrovascular disease, heart disease, or other diseases you have, the more inflammation you experience, the longer it lasts and the greater the amount. However, whether it's inflammation or telomere wear and tear, it's known that we can significantly reduce it and even delay it by making some efforts in our daily lives. That's right. Professor, right? Yes, that's right. Director Han Hyun-young is a renowned expert in geriatrics and dementia. She explained it well, but if I may elaborate a bit, the things you see in blue are phenomena that occur with age. You've already explained everything. As you age, your genes age, so they become mutated and damaged. Genetic changes occur, and telomeres, the protective capsula at the end of your genes, shorten. And now, epigenetically, as we age, genetic mutations occur again, and proteins don't function properly. Since proteins are what make up genes, this becomes apparent. Macrophages, which repair damaged or defective genes, also become damaged due to aging. This causes them to turn yellow. They try to resolve this. Cells work harder and replenish their cells more quickly. So they work harder, and because they work harder, they age more quickly, despite their age. Mitochondria consume a lot of energy, and even mitochondria use more energy, so they become damaged. Furthermore, their ability to regulate diet and other factors declines, and this becomes a problem that interferes with the resolution of common aging issues. This leads to stem cell damage, poor cell connections, and the development of dementia. Today's topic is sleep. I've been talking about its importance to you all. What does sleep solve? It solves a fundamental problem. Good sleep lengthens telomeres, stabilizes genes, and prevents genetic damage and mutations. Aging is inevitable, but the best way to slow down the aging process and delay pseudo-aging is to get good sleep. As you age, sleep becomes more difficult. But if you listen carefully to the discussion between director Han Hyun-young and me today and make your sleep more abundant and enriching, you will gain a method of preventing aging that is better than any nutritional supplement or food. Yes, we're talking about pseudo-aging and successful aging. Aging is something we experience every minute of every day. How can we accelerate this aging process and support it? This is crucial. Even in ancient times, many emperors like Qin Shi Huang unified the country and dreamed of immortality, hoping to live long and avoid aging. They sent many mythological beings to find the elixir of life. Of course, there are theories that say they ended up dying after eating the wrong food or medicine. But the question of how to achieve successful aging is what captures the attention of all of humanity. In fact, modern people are aging faster than ever before. Looking at data on the elderly in Korea from 2017 to 2023, the population over 65 will already exceed 18.4% of the total, exceeding 10 million people. So, we've already entered a super-age society. Actually, I'm happy to hear that the Uriong population is growing as I get older. It makes me more friends. I don't feel lonely. But if we look at society as a whole, the truth is there needs to be a large elderly population along with a large younger population. What's more important is how long and healthy the elderly live. In fact, according to the data released in Korea in 2023, the life expectancy is around 83 to 84 years. But the healthy life expectancy is 66 years. That's a huge difference. Yes, that's a difference of almost 17 years. So 65 years. That's why we consider the age of 65 to be very important. Recently, some have argued that the standard for elderly people should be changed from 65 to 70 or 75. However, for our bodies, how well we live after 65, free of illness and disability, is crucial. Professor Shin Won-cheol, and I too, all of you who are interested in this chat room, don't just want to live a long life. So, it's incredibly important to find ways to live a long and healthy life. They say modern people are aging faster than their actual age. The main cause is sleep deprivation. In fact, back in the old days, when we went to bed at sunset and woke up at sunrise, working and eating, sleep deprivation probably wasn't that common, right? In a way, this is a sad reality of modern people arising as civilization has advanced. We lack sleep. Furthermore, with the rise of pesto and processed foods, we've also reduced our exercise intake. So obesity is a major factor in our aging. Are we also stressed? Yes. Students need to study, and adults need to work. And stress from various financial matters, financial issues, health issues, and interpersonal relationships has increased significantly. As I mentioned earlier, exercise has become relatively insufficient, and smoking, drinking, irregular meals, and nutritional deficiencies and imbalances are all risk factors that can cause modern people to age faster than their actual age. Among these, sleep deprivation is a major factor. So, among these characteristics of aging, what is the successful aging process we dream of? How should we age to achieve a successful aging process? Actually, I'm more interested in this personally than academically. I'd like to live a life free of disease and disability. That's what everyone wants. Yes, and cognitive function is also important. I'd like to maintain overall cognitive function, such as memory and the ability to perform certain tasks independently at an appropriate level or better, if possible. The third point is this. I saw this in a certain paper. The criteria for determining whether I'm elderly or not is whether I have an interest in something and the motivation to actively pursue it, or whether I have no interest at all and have no self-esteem or anything. A lack of motivation is actually the definition of old age. That's more important than age. I've read that article. But I think the successful aging process involves actively pursuing various interests, maintaining appropriate social relationships, and so on. Yes, I agree. Aging is inevitable, right? So, to give an example, I often use a car. Even if you buy a nice car for 100 million won or 300 million won, if you don't drive it because you feel it's a waste, it rusts and breaks down. And if you drive too hard, accelerating and driving too fast, and drive too many miles a day without regular maintenance, it breaks down again. These cars, too, need to drive a certain amount, occasionally increase their speed, and have their parts replaced when the time comes for maintenance. This is how it works for our bodies. As we age, our stamina weakens, so if we don't use it, it will easily break down. Overuse not only affects our bodies, but also our brains, our minds, and our bodies. Sleep is the key to this maintenance. When God created us, He designed our bodies to be sustainable machines. We should take time each day to rest, regenerate, and heal. He gave us 18 hours, 16 hours of work, and 8 hours of rest to recover. That's sleep. I wonder if we've been neglecting it too much. Especially as we age, when our bodies deteriorate more rapidly, this maintenance time becomes incredibly important. Go to the hospital on time, go to the mechanic on time, and replace broken parts. Tips for improving sleep habits for irregular sleepers, PDs. Just like I do with repairs, if you cherish the time you spend sleeping each night and invest a little more in that time, I think you'll age well and be healthy and embrace successful aging. Okay, I'm going to ask a lot of questions. Wow, I was surprised by that, but nice to meet you. But should I ask the first one? The first one just came up, and now you've said it. Yes, my husband is a PD at a broadcasting station, and his sleep is very irregular, so I'm very worried. Yes, this question is actually difficult. If you go to a broadcasting station, you'll see that the people there are very irregular. Also, the working environment itself is very bright. So, it's not like we start filming right away, but rather 2 or 3 hours in advance. The writers prepare almost the day before, so we work all night. And with the Olympics, there are so many cases of night shifts, even into the early morning. It's really difficult to do things irregularly like this. For example, let me give you a few examples. Okay, we'll be good. Okay, it's like this. It's fixed. It's not just about eating whenever you're hungry, like eating a meal. It's important to eat at a set time. Just like eating healthy food, we also have a circadian rhythm, so we need to sleep at a set time. Just because I work nights, my circadian rhythm doesn't suddenly change. It only changes by an hour a day. Okay, if you have no choice, then usually before work, if you have a set time, you should go to work in the afternoon. Then, it's best to get an hour or two of sleep 2 or 3 hours before work. Get a short nap before work. Of course, you'll do that too. After waking up, eating, and leaving for work, it's good to expose yourself to strong light for about 30 minutes. This activates your body's natural circadian rhythm. And when you get to work, stay in a bright place and take short naps in between. When you return in the morning, you should wear sunglasses or avoid light. Yes. And wear sunglasses or blue light blocking glasses. As soon as you get home, close the curtains and prepare for the morning sun, as it's going to be very bright in the morning. Then, eat a meal or take a quick rest, and when you feel sleepy, go to bed. You'll probably sleep for about an hour. When we sleep because we're tired, we sleep for 3 to 5 hours. After that, we sleep for a while, then move around, then take a short nap before going to work, and then take a short nap again. So, if you're this irregular, you have no choice but to split your sleep into 2 parts called split sleep. Instead, you have to fix your sleep times after work and before going to work, and then take short naps during breaks. We can't change our circadian rhythms, so it's a difficult situation, like washing a car when you go on a trip. Yes, this seems like the most difficult case. It's not like I'm working a fixed shift, but rather, my sleep is irregular at times. Yes, if I follow Professor Shin Won-cheol's tip and split my sleep a bit to maintain a good quality of sleep, I think it'll be a little less difficult. Yes, in this situation, taking melatonin for a few days before bed is also a good idea. Yes, that'll be fine too. Yes. Next, yes. We've already been thinking about the 20-minute rule for healthy aging. Yes. We've all thought about it. This diet is very healthy aging lifestyle rules. Diet and exercise is important. That little meal a day. It's repeated every day, so, why we've heard so much about the Mediterranean diet. And you probably heard a lot about the Danish diet. People who live in the Mediterranean are very healthy, disease-free, and live long lives. While I looked into their longevity, I found that they enjoyed a diet rich in Mediterranean fish, whole grains, nuts, olive oil, and fresh vegetables grown locally. They also ate low-fat foods like yogurt and eggs, while eating less red meat and other wheat products like white wheat. They lived very healthy lives, so the Mediterranean diet is widely known as a very healthy diet. Also, the American College of Cardiology strongly recommends the Danish diet and other diets to prevent high blood pressure and cardiovascular disease, combining the two and calling it the Mind diet. Ultimately, maintaining a diet rich in antioxidants and reducing inflammation is crucial. In Korea, we're not in the Mediterranean, nor in Northern Europe, Denmark. So how do we survive? Mediterranean vegetables aren't readily available here. So I've been carefully observing my patients and thinking about it, and now I need to be very mindful of my diet. The Korean diet is actually good. It's vegetable-based, and we're not the type of people who enjoy meat that much, so it's great. But there are two things you need to be careful about in the Korean diet. I think one is the high sodium content. Because we eat a lot of kimchi and other fermented seafood, our sense of taste tends to dull as we age, so we tend to think we've had enough if we eat something salty. So, we need to lower our sodium intake. We recommend adults keep their sodium intake below 2,000 milligrams per day for a healthy lifestyle. But I actually advise people with diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, or other conditions to eat less than 1,000 milligrams per day, just enough to make it bland and tasteless. The other is the relatively low sodium content. We like white rice, don't we? If you eat it plain and simple, it's fine, but now instead of white meat, you can eat a diet that includes whole grains like brown rice, beans, or other ingredients. If you limit carbohydrates and white rice a bit, I think the Korean diet is no less than the Mind diet, and I'm trying to eat that way. Oh, right, Professor Shinwon agrees. Right? Korean food is really popular these days, with the K-food craze, isn't it? First of all, it's full of vegetables. The problem with fresh rice is that if you mix it with brown rice and beans, you get a lot of vegetables and they're well fermented. It's a really good diet. Yes. And exercise is also very important these days. Aerobic exercise is actually, we've been trying to prevent dementia and other signs of aging. Among the methods, we recommend doing it consistently, at least 3 to 4 times a week for at least 30 to 40 minutes. Usually, this includes brisk walking, interval running, swimming, and cycling. It actually promotes the production of BDNF, a brain growth factor. Therefore, I'm also promoting the importance of consistent aerobic exercise. Another thing is that, in recent years, we've been delving into sarcopenia. It's not just a risk factor for falls, but also for other types of dementia. It's said that sarcopenia occurs after middle age. To prevent this, there are 2 key factors: aerobic exercise, but also strength training. Physical exercise is also essential. Protein intake is also crucial. So, if you calculate it as 1g to 1.2 g per body weight, then if you weigh 60 kilograms, you should eat about 60 g to 70 g of protein per day. I actually tried it. I was worried about sarcopenia, so I asked how much protein I was actually eating per day, and it turned out to be about 40 g. It's so hard to eat. In fact, 1 egg contains 6 g.